Dream Journal, March 14th, 4 a.m. I was in Mexico, attending a town party, which I hadn't gone to in some time. Those are in early May, and I could walk again. It was nice to be back in town, and I was seeing people I hadn't seen in quite some time. It was very pleasant. And I was in Seattle, and I was kind of just hanging out at different software companies and getting an idea of the vibe of them, walking around Seattle downtown. And I had an offer for Microsoft, who I used to work for quite some time. And I was checking out some other places as well. And went to a movie over lunch and came back, and one of the people at the company noticed me. I was sitting in kind of their break room and mentioned the movie that we just seen. She had gone to the same movie, and it wasn't a very good movie. And then as I was standing up, a fellow talked to me and introduced himself, and apparently he was the head of the company. And so I said, "Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you," etc. And he asked me if I wanted to work there. And I was kind of surprised and said, "Well, my name is this, and, I've worked at this place before and that place." And he was like, "Well, you want to work here?" So I was taken aback. It's a little unusual to just have a job offer like that. But I think that he already had looked me up because I had been hanging out there. So he seemed to already know who I was somewhat. And then different guys showed up and seemed to be more of a guy who was ready to hire. He would probably be the hiring manager. And they even seemed to not have an HR person. So it was all very odd. And he was like, "Well, when are you going to sign up?" And so I tried to, say, "Well, here's the kind of things I can do or not." And he wasn't really interested. And I sort of felt like that was an interesting way to do things. But it is true that if somebody's really on board with you, then sometimes you hire for fit. You hire for someone you like. And then if they're multi-purpose, then if they're on board pushing it forward, then the team goes forward. And so maybe that's how they do things there. And then the dream ended. And actually, there was a little bit more to the dream where I was then thinking about, because felt like I was supposed to make an offer of what I could do. They mentioned, well, what salary do you want? And so I was just, my head was zooming, like trying to figure out, okay, well, do I need to define what I want? Maybe I want to work part-time or three-quarter time because I still would like to maintain a connection with Mexico, so I could go back and visit and keep my things going there. And this whole dream falls on the back of considering that I could go back and work in tech. I could either work online, which would be ideal, although fairly hard to do. Of course, right now with the coronavirus, everybody's pushing for working online, so that's great. But that is one really good option for me in my fairly difficult situation right now, is to get a job with a software company, with a product that I like, and perhaps in program management or perhaps UX design, I guess they call it now. Since I have a background in testing, and a lot of that was very UI oriented in making sure that the user's experience was good. So they didn't say user experience back then, but that's probably a good fit for me. I also have some thoughts about very specific software projects I'd like to get involved with, projects that I know are going on at places like Microsoft and Google, but I haven't heard about a lot lately. And so they have research projects going on that will result in amazing products and experiences that I saw things before. There was videos and announcements about it, and I haven't heard anything. So I have to imagine that they're still working on those projects, and they're doing it in stealth mode. So I'm not going to mention what those are, of course, but I'm perfect for that. A variety of roles. One of them could possibly be evangelizing them, product evangelist, but I really have visions for how those products would work well in terms of the UI. And anyway, so I wake up confused. After waking up, I wasn't even sure I was in Seattle or Mexico. It was dark, of course, and my dreams are very realistic. So that's my dream report, and I should probably go ahead and look into getting an online job, working for something I have a great passion for, because I'm not interested in working a job just for the money. We shall see.